David Dobrik recently returned to YouTube after taking 3 years off for multiple reasons. You may have seen his comeback video, or if you're watching this video, maybe you saw my video on his comeback video. Thank you, by the way. But what you may not have seen is this 45-minute documentary about the last 12 months of David's life. David's video was good. In typical David Dobrik fashion, he condensed very eventful activities into a short vlog. It was good, but I feel that this documentary gives a much more accurate depiction of who David Dobrik is. There's no amazing parties or beautiful drone footage to distract you from him. It's an honest depiction of who David Dobrik is. Also in this video, we're going to look at some of the lies told in David's video, if we can call them lies. And again, I want to talk about the future of David Dobrik and see if anything has actually changed. Okay, the documentary starts in December 2023 with this.
This is the moment I'm realizing that I need to make some health changes. This is crazy that I look like this. I don't know what happened.
It's then followed by clips of his friends talking about his unhealthy lifestyle, how he is known to eat whatever he feels like, whenever he feels like it. It's clear that at this point in his life, he's known as someone who's very unhealthy. Then we cut to David going to his friend Ilya. Ilya is a personal trainer. It's also his account that this video is posted on. And despite a lot of the video being filmed by David, you almost take on Ilya's perspective throughout this video. Watching a friend try and lose weight as you do what you can to help them, even if it's not always easy. Ilya's tried to help David get in shape in the past, but David always gives up. But David says this time is different. The way they solidify this being different is David says he's dead ass.
Said you could do it last time. You fucking quit.
Did I say dead ass I'm gonna do it?
Say that as you're gonna do it. Say it! Say it.
Dead ass I'm gonna do it.
They scanned David for his body fat percentage. This is how much of your weight is considered as fat. According to Google's AI, anywhere from 18% to 24% body fat is healthy, but anything above 25% is dangerously high or obese. If you're between these two, you're considered healthy, but you would assume the goal is to look more like these three. David's first DEXA scan has his body fat percentage at 27.8.
That's obese.
No, it's not. Is it actually?
Yes.
Also, if we pause on these scan results, we can see that this is on the 10th of January. Then they cut to day 1. The first mile. This is where one of those lies that I talked about pops up. In David's vlog, they make it seem like they go on the trip first and then afterwards they go work out for the first time, as if the first mile happens after the trip. But here we see the first mile happens in January and he actually trains for 3 months before going on the trip around the world because they leave for that trip in April. So in David's video when he says,
Ilya did it. He kept up his promise. We're at the Taj Mahal. It's our final wonder, which means now I have to keep up my promise. Time to get shredded. This is my first step into the exercise world.
Get set, go!
after the first mile, David said he wants to be able to eat whatever food he wants to eat as he gets in shape. He doesn't want to have to give up the food that he enjoys.
A lot of the people that do these transformations like kind of give up the fun part of their life. You know, eating good, fun things from time to time, and like that's what I don't want to do. I don't want to give up the things I love, if that makes sense. And that would be Krispy Kreme, Big Macs, and hopefully by the time this doc is done, maybe snack wraps, maybe they'll be back at McDonald's.
Oh my God.
In February, we find out David's body fat percentage has dropped from 27.8% to 25.2%. A big step forward, but still technically he's considered obese. We don't get another scan until June. 4 months later, because in between February to June, David and his friends have been traveling around the world. Now this is a large part of both the documentary and the vlog, but in the documentary we get to see a lot of the stuff that David wouldn't show you. Taking a step away from the fitness side of this video, it's nice to see actual interactions between David's group without jump cuts. In a David Dobrik video, shots like this would show for 3 seconds before they call the fat man fat and everyone laughs. Whereas here you get to see David Dobrik actually just appreciate his surroundings. It's kind of refreshing to see as someone who's watched a lot of David Dobrik content. I'm going to cut through this chunk of the video because while it's very visually pleasing, there isn't much to say about it from a commentary standpoint. The overarching theme is that David cannot control his eating. While they're on holiday, they were still consistently working out, so we would expect the number to be below the last number. Keep in mind, in January he was 27.8% fat, in February he was 25.2% fat, but now in June, he's 15.7% fat, which is a massive step forward, but Ilya isn't too happy about it.
This is great news, being that you traveled for 2 months, but like, you can't do what you did last month.
anymore.
Of course, as you would expect, the next shots are about David drinking large amounts of alcohol for days, if not weeks on end. And before I show you the results for his next DEXA scan, this one happens in July, I want you to pay attention to David's body language here after he's being told where he went wrong. So David goes up to 16.6% body fat. This starts a long dialogue where David accepts he needs to start dieting to see more results, and they start something called the 75-day challenge, where he has to work out every day for 75 days. We get a good training montage that leads onto more laughing at the fat man.
Cold plunge.
Nope.
I want to look at it.
It's cool.
No, let me look at it. It's kind of like
$1,000 a minute.
And as we go into October, we get to see the last DEXA scan. He gets his scan and he finds out that he has a body fat percentage of 13.1%, less than half his original body fat percentage. This is a massive amount of weight loss. It's an amazing achievement for anyone to do. And of course, he's in amazing shape. Regardless of what I say in the rest of this video, David Dobrik has gone through a large amount of physical change, but has he changed as a person at all? A big criticism of his comeback video was a lack of change. He's still showing his friends get hurt. He's still profiting financially off endangering his friends. Someone could have easily got hurt in this stunt, but he's pretty happy to just show it. He also clearly didn't want to change his diet until he realized he needed to, otherwise he wouldn't get any further. His attitude when being held accountable is to avoid eye contact, to walk away when being spoken to. Also, his vlog feels very reminiscent of his former content, which is how he got into his controversies. I think it's very easy to see why people from the outside looking in think he hasn't changed, because there's a lot of signs that he hasn't. But a big theme in this video is both Ilya, I forgot her name, and David speaking openly about the change which is happening in his life. If you want an answer on if he's actually changed, all I can do is give you my opinion. And we're just gonna have to wait and see. People can change, and change often comes almost as a domino effect. If you change one thing about you, more things will change as a result of that. It also depends on what you think he needs to change from. Did you think that the crane thing with Jeff Wittick. Did you think the crane thing with Jeff Wittick was David's fault? Was it his fault for putting his friend in a dangerous situation, which he put him there so he could profit off him financially? Or are David's friends liable for their own actions? Do you think it was right that, to our knowledge, David never helped Jason out financially when Jason was breaking down publicly about his finances, and David is presumably a millionaire? Or again, is Jason liable for his own actions? Do you think David Dobrik was ever a bad person, or was he just painted that way? What does he need to change from in order to be a good person? Maybe he was always a good person. I don't know. I can't tell you how to feel about someone. All I can do is lay everything out. Again, if you want my actual opinion, I never thought that David was a terrible person. I never thought that David warranted as much hate as he got. I do think that grown adults make their own decisions. It's a terrible thing to happen to anyone, but stepping up there to agree to that, you're understanding that you are putting yourself at that risk. No one forced you to be in that position. The same way as when Fat Man got in car and drove it into a pool, if he had been hurt, that is still Fat Man's fault. I understand that people do these things for David Dobrik to profit off financially, but David isn't forcing them to do it. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There was so much love on the last video, and I really do appreciate that. To sum up the documentary, David Dobrik was Fat Man. Now he is not Fat Man. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and stick around. We got more content coming. Enjoy this, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, guys.
A Pope-like character going down for the suck-off. If you don't believe me that they are purposefully filming and releasing this stuff to the public to promote godless Satanism,